Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something that we're all wondering about, and that is what is going to happen to TikTok. So I thought I'd find the chart that represented TikTok, and we're going to look at this chart to see what the future is in the world, but particularly in the US, which they are trying to ban TikTok. Will they? Well, I've got some news for you, so get prepared. By the way, don't forget I do have a presence on TikTok too. You can go to my TikTok or my Instagram, go to both, and you'll see where I give my predictions there as well. So anyway, TikTok, it's been, yeah, you all know it's been in the media and saying that it came out of China. The Chinese are infiltrating all of our phones through TikTok. I don't even know if that's true or not, but that's what they say. So let me pull up the chart that I found on TikTok. So let me scoot over here. I'm always going to be looking at charts. But before I bring that up, let me tell you, you can sign up for my free newsletter. Remember that on galacticcenter.org. And coming up here really, really soon, you're going to find that I have a new Galactic Planner where you can get all of my predictions delivered to your calendar. You can get a month for free and try it out. Go to galacticplanner.com. And one last thing. If you want to study Vedic astrology, I have a school. Go to the University of Vedicastrology.com. And if you want to meet with me live every week, join my Patreon page. Join our community. All of that you can find down below, links below. All right, so let's get going here. And let's start talking about TikTok. What is the future for TikTok? So I found the date that TikTok began. Don't know exactly what time. Whenever I don't know a time, I always put 12 noon. But it was on September 20th. 2016 that TikTok began. So looking at that, first of all, TikTok was only in China and India in the beginning, and then it came on to the US later. But this is the birth chart. And what I do a lot of times when I don't have a time, I simply look at the moon as the ascendant. And for the most part on that day, the moon was in Aries. So we don't know exactly the degree, but I do see something vitally important that puts a huge damper on TikTok this year. And that is, if you will notice where K2 is in this chart, at 18 degrees of Aquarius. Now, what is K2? K2 is the south node of the moon, part of Rahu and K2. These are so very important. The nodes of the moon, they depict our future. They predict our future, what is going to be happening. They really do indicate where the biggest changes occur in our lives. And of course, where they're transiting in the heavens predicts the biggest changes that are going to be going on. Because wherever Rahu or K2 are, Rahu's the north node of the moon, K2's the south node of the moon, this is going to be where the eclipses are always going to be falling, because Rahu and K2 cause eclipses with the sun and the moon. So they are there for a year and a half, 18 months. And if you will notice where K2 sits at 18 degrees of Aquarius is where Saturn is. That's why they're coming up against all this trouble. Now, Saturn is in the heavens right now, hovering around this degree mark. It's going to go up to about 25 degrees, 26 degrees. It's going to come back. And let me just say, Saturn is going to come back in its retrograde process the end of October, and through mid-December that Saturn will be stationing and turning direct, but it's stationing at the degree of 18 degrees of Aquarius. This is radical. And so let me just say, Saturn will be at 18 degrees of Aquarius from the end of October through mid-December. And I see mid-December as a radical turning point, especially in the United States. Oh my God. I'm going to be, yeah, you better keep following because I've got a lot to talk about, because right after these elections, the country is going to be in an uproar. Let me just to put it nicely. So you can only imagine. It doesn't even take an astrologer to figure that one out. But I do see it in the stars. But looking at TikTok, for Saturn to station, Saturn conjunct K2 is one of the worst aspects you can possibly have. So the only saving grace that I can say for TikTok is that right now, transiting Jupiter in the heavens is in Taurus. Remember, I'm talking about Vedic sidereal astrology, not the Western tropical. So the fact that Jupiter is in Taurus, and yes, it's going to be hovering around the sun in the month of May and April, May. But what I see is that Jupiter will be aspecting natal Jupiter, and this will be around June 5th to the 8th. And around this time, Jupiter will cast a trinal aspect to the natal Jupiter in the chart for TikTok. So when Jupiter casts a trine, a conjunction, opposition, it always brings some kind of expansion or something positive. So it's going to look like things are going for a good resolution for TikTok around June 5th through the 8th. But things will not be complete by that time, because Saturn is the one that's going to bring things to reality. And the reality is that Saturn on K2 could really cause TikTok to have major issues, because it's not just Saturn crossing over K2, but it is Saturn stationing on that degree that makes it so critical. And this is the chart for TikTok. So it means there's something very devastating going to happen for this app or this TikTok, the whole platform, around the end of October through December. We're going to see some radical events. Could bring it down. I hope not, unless TikTok is something that's sinister. But for the most part, I can't say what is behind all this. I don't know. But it seems pretty not that bad to most of us, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because there's more to everything out there in the world, especially with the elites and the money and where everything goes. Yeah. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And let's just pray it's for the highest good. Okay. So another thing, though, that will help TikTok through the transits is going to be, well, it's the whole time really that Jupiter's in Taurus that it's lucky for TikTok, because Jupiter is going to be aspecting the sun and the natal Jupiter in Virgo, casting a perfect trine back and forth. Well, let me just say, Jupiter, towards the end of its cycle in Taurus into 2025, will have moved away considerably from the exact trine of the Jupiter Sun here. But around July 12th, Jupiter will roll up, transiting, till about 16 degrees. And yeah, this is July 12th. I predict a lot of things happening around this time. But Jupiter will move up to 16 degrees, which, by the way, is going to be conjunct the fixed star Aldebaran, opposed the star of war, Antares, That 16 degrees Scorpio is Antares, 16 degrees Taurus is Aldebaran. But if you'll notice, Saturn in this chart is 16 degrees of Scorpio. So transiting Jupiter will be aspecting Saturn. And if there's going to be some good news for TikTok, it will come around July 12th, around that time. But what is critical is going to be, wow, when Saturn goes into the end of October through mid-December on that K2, I don't see a good result for TikTok. And I was looking at where Mars may be too, because when Mars starts to go into Gemini and into Cancer, which Mars is going to go retrograde mid-December, right around the time I say all this is going to crash and burn and big things happening for the US, trust me, that's mid-December, Saturn will be 18 degrees, crucial, stationing to go direct, and transiting Mars will go retrograde around 12 degrees of Cancer. But prior to that, Mars will be in Gemini. And for TikTok, it will be in the 8th house. So this is critical. This happens around October. Yes, September, October. Here, I'm going to look it up in the ephemeris. When Mars will be in Gemini, because this will be critical for looking at TikTok. So Mars will go into Gemini. It will be in Gemini from August 27th through October 24th. While Mars is in Gemini, it will be in the 8th house for the chart for TikTok, which means there's going to be a lot of scrutinizing and things coming out, and this is not good for TikTok. You know, whether it's good for the world, I'm not going to say, I don't know, but it is not good for TikTok. A lot of things will be uncovered. A lot of things will come out. And especially when Mars opposes Mars, when it first goes into the sign of Gemini, which will be around August 27th, 28th, 29th, Mars will oppose Mars in the chart of TikTok, which means some crucial things will come out concerning the undercurrents and what TikTok has been up to and what it's all about. The 8th house reveals the secrets. So I'm looking at this noon chart to be accurate, but it doesn't really matter. Mars will be opposed Mars, and this means crises. So I gotta say, starting August, then through October, November, December, if it's going to stay relevant in the United States, that's going to be the crisis time that will determine the fate of TikTok, whether it's banned in the United States or not. Watch, be careful, be leery. Maybe you need to start thinking about some other social media platforms. If you are on TikTok, yeah, just, you know, be prepared. The chart looks difficult for TikTok. Let me just leave it at that. So with that, I think I'll close. If you would like more information on me, join my Patreon, sign up for my free newsletter, go to galacticcenter.org, sign up for a reading, as well as remember, if you want to know what's going on in your life and in your chart, sign up for a free month with my Galactic Planner. So go to galacticplanner.com. Thank you.